Thank you, sir. So without wasting much time, I'll present my paper, that is photobiomodulation in diabetic macular edema resistant to standard treatment. So nil financial disclosure. So we all have a practical problem. We all agree with this. I present one of my patients. This patient has this patient had 3 anti-VEGF injections, 4 sitting of lasers, and 2 sitting of Ozurdex, which was given. Despite that, we can see that the CMT is quite high, and he has a persistent cystoid macular edema. So what we came up with to deal with such situations, though the treatment options are limited, so we thought of a novel solution by asking the patient to look into this filter. What is the filter and how did it work? I'll come into the rest part of the presentation. So see this patient, which we exposed to the whatever modality which I have shown right now, exposing himself to the sun through the filter. This was the baseline at 313 micrometers. And within a matter of 3 months, it had decreased by around 20 microns. And in 5 months, it had come down to 280 with almost normalization of the foveal counter. So when we withdrew the treatment per se, it started again increasing. So that at 7 month end, so it had come back almost up to 317, almost up to the baseline values. So when we did the Humphreys visual field to make sure that we are not causing any loss of the photoreceptors, we could see that the Humphrey visual field was showing improvement rather than deterioration. So obviously the treatment was not causing any harm to the photoreceptors or the retinal layers. So what is this study all about? So we all know what is recalcitrant diabetic macular edema. So to define it, it is a thickened retina which is about 350 microns with persisting cystoid changes despite standard therapy. Or if you give any form of standard form of treatment, the response is less than 15%. So what are the options at present, which is currently followed is switching anti-VEGF from one to the other, or switching to steroids from anti-VEGF, that is implant or depot, or a combination of any of these to treat them. So there was, let me start my thought process. Why did we think about this? We know that subthreshold laser has been there in commercial use for quite some time. Why this subthreshold laser came into being was the traditional laser which was used had a therapeutic effect, but what happened was it used to destroy the photoreceptors. So rather than stimulating alone, it used to destroy the photoreceptors. That's why the concept of subthreshold came into being, which said that just enough to stimulate the RP is good enough, which leads to repair of the inner blood retinal barrier and prevents destruction of the photoreceptors. So several studies have already proven, and there is a class 1 evidence to suggest that subthreshold lasers are are various macular pathologies. It's useful and efficacious. So we replace the laser with sun to provide the subthreshold energy. So purpose of the study was to evaluate the effect of photobiomodulation on eyes with resistant or recalcitrant diabetic macular edema. So recalcitrant diabetic macular edema, we took the worst eye of the 2 eyes which the patient presented with. We did not know how the treatment will work, and we had to be sure that we are causing no harm because these were hopeless eyes. We didn't want to create much more issues in them. So how did we do the study? So we designed a narrow bandpass filter, which we wanted a selected bandpass between 570 to 580 nanometers, which is the yellow beam. So we wanted the patient to see the sun for 5 minutes per day, 5 days a week, or 2 days rest in between, and then for 1 month, and see how it responds to. Only one eye is treated. The worst eye was treated. The fellow eye was taken as control, and the review was done at 136 and afterwards. So we took this 570, 580 nanometer, which we designed, and went to IASC to get it evaluated. We saw that it was 99.98% pure at 581.16 nanometer passing. So why 5 minutes was the duration? So when we look, we take the sunlight, we measured the lux, which is given at a particular area. So approximately a standard value of 15,000 is what an average sunlight comes up to. The luminance efficacy of the sun is all been calculated. The surface area, these are all standard formula, which is already present. The surface of the macula is 1094 millimeters squared. So when we calculated the power delivered, it was 0.1764 watts. So total energy which is given for approximately 5 minutes is 5 millijoules. So whenever we calculate most of the focal energy that we are given when we do focal laser is approximately 3 to 5 millijoules. So that's why we chose 5 minutes. So how did we ascertain adequate exposure? We took the best available in business, the commercially available light meter, and measured the light sensitivity and the lux of the sun, and then we went on with the calculation. So methods, this was a prospective study, Shankar Eye Hospital. Duration was for 2 years. Sample size for 11 eyes of 11 patients. Inclusion were resistant diabetic macular edema patients. Exclusion were systemic conditions influencing outcome. So we looked into HbA1c, the Oculus FS, CMT, MFERG, and Humphreys visual fields. So these were the results. Did it really help? This is one of the second patients, 4 injection anti-VEGF previously given. See how it responds to from 377 microns to within 3 months, it decreased to 330 microns with almost near normalization of the foveal contour. This is a third case which had a huge amount of NSD with CME, already received 3 injections of anti-VEGF, 2 Ozurdex, and pars plana vitrectomy because of the taut hyaloid. Despite that, there was not much of response, but with the photobiomodulation, it decreased by around 300 microns in a matter of 3 months. So did we do any harm to these patients when we did the Humphreys visual field 10-2? There was nothing much. It was showing improvisation of the visual fields. And MFERG also, though there were lots of noise levels because of the macular edema, and the sensitivity has already decreased because this patient had chronic macular edema. It had maintained. So 62 patients, 15 years of mean duration, HbA1c of 7.3. Sir, shall I just finish up in about 15 seconds, 20 seconds?
Your time is up, Dr. Rajesh.
Last
Okay,
sentence.
sir, sorry.
Yeah, please go to the last slide.
Yeah, sorry. So to conclude, photobiomodulation can be used to treat diabetic macular edema. It is a very cost-effective, non-invasive, and self-administered. Shows a promising as an alternative or adjunctive treatment to diabetic macular edema.
So this particular paper, Dr. Rajesh, what he has presented, has won last year the Rama Mohan Award, and that's why he has presented as a keynote address in this session. So thank you, Dr. Rajesh. Over to you all judges.
Thank you, sir. I'm really sorry for the delay in the time. Thank you.
Rajesh,
I have a
filter from. Where did you purchase that filter from?
So we didn't actually. We had one of the companies, Optica, who has their branch in Bangalore. So we asked them that we wanted this filter of 570 to 580 nanometer. So they designed it for us.
Okay. Why did you select that around 570 instead of going into the infrared range? Because that sometimes patients might expose themselves for a longer period, or they may not necessarily keep up with the timing, might do it later in the day. So if you selected more towards the infrared range, say even 700, 800 thereabouts, so the likely damage would be less, isn't it?
So only thing was the yellow laser was supposed to be the best as of today. So we thought like we'll keep it akin to the yellow laser. So as you rightly pointed out, we can definitely try out with other filters, which we might design and do. The time duration, we fixed it at 5 meters. It was not for individualized. We can do that also. So there are various things that can be, else form. This is just a protocol kind of a thing, just as the, starting of the way we can use photobiomodulation. That's it.
Oh, it's an excellent. Congratulations
sorry.
to the entire group for that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Dr. Rajesh,
I
congratulate you for an excellent presentation. And I would just like to know that the subthreshold laser that is being used to, save your retinal receptors, the same phenomena that you have used by using the sunlight with a particular filter bank. Now, I would like to know, can it have a multiple use in other kind of diabetic retinopathy besides recalcitrant diabetic macular edema?
So theoretical possibility is definitely there. We just exposed this because most of the vision, mean average vision was approximately about 3/60. So we didn't want to test this in patients who had good visions or any other conditions. We didn't know what we were doing, because that's why the ethics committee was very particular in giving only 12 patients as the clearance. So we have just presented this. Now they want us to conduct in rodents and then certify it and then go ahead with the other patients actually. So the 10 patient or 12 patient which they had given was the initial ones. That's it. So we had tested only one.
Yeah, another interesting point is that you have seen in Ayurveda and naturopathy,
Yeah.
they have a treatment looking at the sunlight, which we
Yes, sir.
always say that don't do it.
Yes, sir.
Do you think that it has some relevance that it increases your resistance towards macular edema, even if the patient develops diabetes, or some sort of a study? Or how do you see? Because this is basically, they say that there is a sun which is coming and you should have sometimes, and people have been having reasonable vision. We sometimes,
totally.
as ophthalmologists, sometimes contradict that there can be macular damage and other things. I would just like to know, because you have used sunlight, you have little more experience about using sunlight with filter or maybe without filter. What is your idea about?
So definitely agree. Not that any system is better than the other. So any other system which proves efficacious for a particular problem is always should be welcome to. There's no doubt about that. So, but only issue is like, since we did on a calculative basis, we had a almost a ready formula that how much it should be exposed and thing, and ask the patient to keep a timer in a phone, and to make sure that they were not exposed too much. And we did with sittings of Humphrey's visual fields and macular this one multifocal ERG. So it was more of a control format. Definitely, if Ayurveda also leads on to such kind of a thing where there's a control system where they're monitoring things, then it's okay. But the problem is when we give out to the patient and say that you can do anything, so they go on a way of form. So that's the problem. So if we can control it, we can monitor it. It's definitely yes. There's no doubt about it. In fact, surprising part is
your innovation.
Yes, sir. Surprising part of it, even with closed eyes, there were some amount of response.
Sorry to interrupt, please. Judges, I request all of you all to please curtail the discussion. We are running late for the session, because the whole day the sessions will be late if we delay one session also. So please keep the discussion very short